with Alex Lundien. He's one of our actors, and he's been in like 3 of our movies. So, can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, well, you covered the basics there. I'm just a nobody from San Antonio, Texas, that happened to be a pro wrestler, and then all of a sudden stumbled into acting, and now I've been in a couple of movies.
So, how did you meet Mitch?
So, as I said, I was here in West Monroe doing a wrestling show, and this is going to sound random, and I don't know if this is what your audience is into, but this is some important context. I come from 8 hours away for the show, and my buddy in the car with me, his match was already about to start, so I had to pee. You ever heard the term like I got to pee like a Russian racehorse, or a pregnant? You just combine those two terms: a pregnant Russian racehorse. You have no idea how bad I needed to pee, right? So this is a visual medium, right? So I can do it. Okay. So it looked like this, right? I'm running in, and I can't even stand up. I got to pee so bad. So I run in. His music's playing. He's got to have his match. I try and kick open the door to the men's room, and there's actually a big furry foot. So I don't know if you know where this story's going already. The giant furry foot blocking the door, and this lady's voice goes, "Sorry, give us a second." And I'm checking. It says men's room. There's a high-pitched, like 3 ladies giggling, and then there's a giant furry foot. But it's wrestling, so it's like a normal Tuesday here. It's not really that big a deal. So I'm like, "I'm sorry, I don't know who you are. I'm trying to be polite, but I gotta pee." So I pee right next to 3 women for the first and only time in my life. I want to make that official and clear. And a giant Sasquatch, who I later found out was the Bogman. So it was the makeup crew putting on the Bogman's outfit in the bathroom because they were going to premiere the movie here. They were going to advertise for it. The Bogman comes out at intermission, meets people, does signatures, all that stuff. But what a better icebreaker than peeing next to someone you never met. I'm not saying I recommend it for anybody. I'm just saying if it happens, it really you're bonded after that. So myself, Mitch, the director of Bogman, got to talking. We had a lot in common. We had a really good time. He watched my match. He texted me later and said, "That's basically your audition if you want to be in our wrestling movie," which really isn't that big of a leap, right? I'm a wrestler.
Yeah.
He's doing a wrestling movie, Blood Tornado. Still have yet to film it, but it is coming down the line. And I'm like, "Oh, that's really cool." I mean, I was excited, but again, it was like, I'm a wrestler. I'm going to be in a wrestling movie. It's like, it makes sense. And then, unfortunately, the lead actor for Sea of Madness, the movie he was just about to film, actually passed away. And, I mean, it was, I don't know, maybe 2-3 months before they were going to first try and film, something like that. I mean, it was last minute as far as movie production goes. So he told me if I want to audition, I could. But there was some urgency to it. And I'm a procrastinator, right? But I knew we had to knock it out that day. So I go. I sit down in my manager's office at the gym that I work at, and I'm sweaty, and it's loud, and there's a bunch of testosterone dudes running around, slamming weights, grunting, and you can barely hear me, and I have my manager reading the other lines, and he's just like a dead brick wall reading the lines. I send it off to Mitch, and he goes, "You know what? Good enough." It's the happiest I've ever been to have someone say good enough, because that meant I got the role. And so I was in Sea of Madness, and then I've been in a couple more since, and everything after that is history. All started with how bad I needed to pee.
So which one of your roles has been like your favorite that you've played in our movies?
Well, I think Sea of Madness is always going to be the most special, maybe for the rest of my life, no matter what I do. It's hard to compete with that sort of the specialness, the uniqueness, the nostalgia of it, because it was my first movie ever, right?
Yeah.
So that's probably the easy pick. I would say when we did the Bog Anthology, I thought it was really cool that, again, I went from, when I was playing Brian in Sea of Madness, I was kind of just playing a late 20s kind of tight shirt wearing white douchebag guy, which really is just me, so it's not that big of a stretch. But then in the Bog Anthology, I had to play someone who lives in the 1800s. So a farmer.
And then you had to ride that horse.
Kids. I had to ride the horse.
And you still didn't do it right after I showed you.
I'm sorry. Literally my first time on a horse. Name another person you've ever met who could memorize all the lines, get on a horse, have a 9-year-old behind them whose life depends on them, have just a bunch of people shooting cameras and making noise, and then the horse stepped in some poop, and then there was the ant pile and everything.
It was,
and we did fine. But what I loved about that, too, was, again, instead of playing myself or an easy character, I had this big bushy beard. I had to have a country accent. And it was very challenging, and I really liked that because now I feel more confident going into other roles.
Didn't they have to like change up your outfit because something wouldn't fit or something?
Yeah, so casting a professional wrestler as your farmer in 1887 is a bit of a stretch, maybe.
Yeah.
I like to think I just happen to be a really jacked farmer. Maybe all my mules were dead and all my tools were broken, so I had to do it all, super manual labor side. That's why I was so muscular.
I mean, you're still working out.
Yes.
Okay, so how was Sea of Madness? Like, how was the filming of it? I know y'all had to stay on a boat for like, I don't know how long, but
The first time, so there were two separate times. First one was 6 days straight, like 20 hours on, like 4 hours off. But for me, because it was so cool and so special,
Yeah.
I genuinely didn't feel like it was hard work, although it was also maybe one of the hardest things I've ever done, if that makes sense at the same time. Like,
Yeah.
the task was difficult, but it was so much fun, it didn't feel difficult. And I loved every second of it. It was like summer camp, but instead of with a bunch of kids, it was a bunch of really, really passionate adults and people wearing seashells on their private parts and like weird scales
Yeah.
and screamings. And
It looked so fun.
It was. I'm telling you. I think to do that for too much longer than 6 days, there would have been some serious burnout, but I'll never know, because all the way up to the last, like the sunrise on the last day, I was still wired up. I hadn't slept, and I was so excited. I loved it.
I am so jealous because I wanted to be on that set so bad, but we haven't even like came into Open Heart yet.
Yep.
But have you ever wanted to act? Is that something you thought you would be doing?
Yes, it's pretty natural for a lot of wrestlers. It ends up
Yeah.
being something they try and get into. The Rock, John Cena, Batista, all these
Well, I mean,
guys.
technically, you're still acting already, in a
Yes.
way.
Anyone in the entertainment industry, I think acting is like a really, really fun thing to segue into. And a lot of guys from sports and stuff. But I always thought I would be 45 like those guys.
Yeah.
And it would be near the end of my wrestling career, not right in the middle of it. So the surprise of getting to meet Mitch and Open Heart and you guys all way, way earlier than I had planned, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Super cool. Super awesome.
So I had a question that I came up with like last minute on the way here. I wasn't going to ask it, but it has to do with something about like your wrestling. So did you have like a certain person that made you want to start wrestling? Or did you just want to do it?
Yeah, lots of, just like anybody else, lots of cool heroes inspired me and guys
Yeah.
I wanted to be like. But it all comes down to one moment. Again, I don't know what kind of freaky audience you got here and what they're into, but I'm going to say it straight up. I went to a WCW World Championship Wrestling show when I was maybe 6 in Abilene, Texas, maybe 4 or 5 years old. And Ric Flair, don't know if you ever heard of him, one of the greatest
yeah, I
of all
know,
time,
yeah.
got his pants pulled down. And so you just visualize. You're not going to get to, I don't know if they pay $9.99, your fans. So I'm not taking the pants down, I promise. But there was a butt cheek hanging out. And you know, if that happens in the real world, someone pantses your friend at the beach, it's just you just pull your pants back up. For some reason, Ric Flair's butt cheek was out for like 2 minutes, running around the ring, still fighting the other guy, and I knew at that moment as a 4-year-old, I wanted to be a professional wrestler. And yes, if you're going to ask, at least 2 separate matches I've already had where my butt cheek came out.
That's amazing. So do you have any interesting facts about you that you think people would want to know?
Well, the butt cheek one was probably my number one most interesting fact. I shouldn't have blown it already. I think me being a wrestler and maybe even an actor, especially a stunt person, makes a lot of sense when you know my background was not just wrestling. I was really in an improv troupe when I was younger, and I really, really enjoyed that. And I also was really into parkour, so like gymnastics, but out
Yeah.
here on the street and stuff. And so I think all of that really came together for wrestling. And
Yeah.
the last ingredient that I think is really cool for the movies is not only did I like acting, but I really liked screenwriting. And so
Yeah.
I was a screenwriter too in high school, and I wrote all these scripts. And then all of a sudden now I get to be part of these movies. It's super
Have
awesome.
you ever been like in any place? Like theater?
Yes, I was in a couple of plays. Midsummer's Night's Dream was my favorite. I was bottom, and so if you have any familiarity with Shakespeare, and especially Midsummer's Night's Dream, that is not the comedic relief.
Yeah.
But I was a punky little 17-year-old, and I wanted all the attention on me.
Yeah.
So I made him really, really flamboyant and completely stole the show from the other comedic relief. And even though it's a huge jerk move to do, and I shouldn't have done it, it was super unprofessional. And as an adult, you would immediately get fired for it.
Yeah.
I loved it, and it made me want to be an entertainer and a wrestler and all that.
So what other like films or movies have you been in? Or like just little skits or anything?
Yes. So ever since the couple that I've done now with Open Heart, I've been a part of a horror film in Austin/San Antonio, Texas, called The Goldilocks Killer.
Yeah.
And so I play multiple roles and also get to be the stuntman for the killer. So super, super cool. So I get to wear all his stuff and wear his mask, and I'm killing a bunch of people.
Oh, so it's like Tom Cruise doing his own stunts.
Yes, yes. So that one's going to be out hopefully next year. They're still just wrapping on that one. And then also, right in the middle of production, there's a wrestling movie called Dreamers out in the Bahamas that I got to be a big part of. I was one of the big evil bad guy wrestlers. So much fun, and obviously the coolest place in the world to film.
That's so
So
cool.
hopefully next year on that one too, it'll be out.
Do you plan on doing anything like a little bit bigger?
Oh
Like-
yeah, I'm loving it so far. So I just want to keep going with this. I've just now finally gotten to the point where I'm actually expanding and trying to audition for other things.
I feel like you have a good enough fan base to like get you out there to
I think
do
so.
stuff like that. But I think that's really cool. Anyways, I think that's it because I can't really think of anything else. But thank you so much for letting me interview you. And go check out our new app we have. It has all of our movies. It will show you our Facebook and all of our YouTube videos and podcasts. And yeah.